Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing good on this blizzard of the century here in Toronto. It's absolutely insane outside, and I'm snowed in. So, what better thing to do on a day like today than to look at somebody who has completely and utterly destroyed their life? So, yeah, the whole thing is a total disaster at this point in time. I don't think there's a ton of stuff at the we'll look at the Kiwi Farms page later, because they actually wrote up quite a bit of stuff about this, some things that he can try to do to try to salvage the situation as best as he can. I mean, I just like to start off with a poll. What are the odds that this is real? So, like, is the situation as bad as he's going to make it out to be? The Kiwis seem to think he actually is facing bankruptcy, but is that, like, the truth? I don't know. So, I guess we'll see soon enough. Let's see what Phil has to say. If anyone notices, 6 months ago, he said, this is why I can't play Bankruptcy. I'm trying to see where it is. Like 6 months ago, he said there's no way I can... Yeah, Bankruptcy not allowed 7 months ago. So apparently it is allowed now. So that being said, let us begin.
And they said this is something you absolutely have
Sorry. Let me just turn this up. Let me know if the audio balance is okay.
to consider, and you might have to actually do, because there's nothing we can do about it. You have to do it. You have to make a change.
Thanks, Boogie.
And you shouldn't be embarrassed when in life you're defeated in a certain way, and you have to make some kind of a change in order to fix it. Because this is a big loss for me, a big fail for me, that I have to do something now that I don't want to do. I never want.
Okay, let me see. Sorry, this one started a bit differently. Let me just go back and
kind of realizing maybe the years and years of truth that's been said about Phil is kind of over exaggerating. And yes, the guy is flawed and certainly isn't perfect and has a lot of things that he said.
Let me just see if because I thought the one I looked up actually had the whole thing. Let's see if Mr. Stuff has put it up. Sorry, this was kind of impromptu. Okay, so we're just going to have to go through a couple of these at the same time. Hopefully the memes aren't too bad in this, because that's my issue with some of these people.
Am I going to address that? Are you nuts? In general, I'm finding that public opinion on me and my streams is actually going up, rather than just going like this or going down, which has had in previous years. Instead, people are kind of realizing maybe the years and years of truth that's been said about Phil is kind of over exaggerating. And yes, the guy is flawed and certainly isn't perfect and has a lot of things that he said and done over the years that may be wrong or agitate people. But maybe he's not the devil either, and maybe we've kind of overdone it a little bit. Phil's a funny guy to laugh at, but maybe we shouldn't utterly try to defame him and destroy his whole life because we want to get a laugh out of it, right?
I mean, that's the position I've always taken. In this video, I'm actually going to... Oh, if you want the whole video, search Darkside Phil State of the Stream Part 2. Thank you, Lazy Millennial. Ironically enough, Lazy Millennial is the one who helped me.
All right.
So I guess he's not that lazy a millennial.
Hey, everyone. So welcome to segment 2 of the State of the Stream Address, for January 2020. In this segment, I'm going to explain in detail what has been going on with me behind the scenes in 2019 and, of course, here in early 2020. Some stuff that I've never publicly talked about before.
Except for every time I publicly talked about it before. Which you think is a bigger financial, disaster? Trump's State of the Union or Phil's State of the Union?
In reality, some stuff that I did actually talk about before, but then never kind of brought up again or never gave more details about. Sadly, there's some third-party information out there going on that's very misinformed and or is only half information and not the full story. So what I need to do is tell you guys everything going on with me so that you understand the whole situation, okay?
But I thought we weren't supposed to pry into your life. And he's going to say this later and go, "Oh, there's these people who want to know about my financial situation. They do all this kind of stuff. They want to, and I'm not going to give them any information except for this stream where I give all the information."
So here we go. Let's talk. You're going to hear it from my mouth, not from someone else. And in fact, I'm going to give you exclusive information right now that no one knows at all, so that it's already out.
Not even my wife. She doesn't even know. It's kind of like with Leanna and the hospital thing. I got to tell you guys before I tell her.
Out there in public, and people know what's going on, rather than it be some kind of horse shit. Okay. All right. Here's the truth of the matter, guys.
The truth. Yep.
Last year, I already told you on this podcast, part 1, you can go back and watch it if you want to, but that 2019 was a really bad financial year for me because of plummeting ad revenue on YouTube and really no way to make up for it, even though
Now, this is true. Ad revenue on YouTube has just been completely and totally devastated. That's why you have seen so many people switch over. To kind of put it in perspective, I make less ad revenue now than I did 3 years ago. So, yeah.
My revenue on Twitch went up because my ad revenue went down on YouTube. Basically, when it became February, March, there was really no...
Once again, I can only imagine how bad his office is for his allergies. There was a time he went and looked at behind his TV or whatever, and everything was just caked in dust. And that foam looks like it's collecting dust, and that chair looks disgusting. It looks like something from Goodwill.
Other way for me to make ends meet and pay all the stuff that I had as a financial obligation in my name. Now, I have a lot of debt in my name, insane amount of debt in my name for various reasons. Obviously, we could talk about those reasons, but I'll just summarize. Well, I was making a lot of money on YouTube for a few years when I lived in Connecticut. I wanted to get the hell out of Connecticut because I hated living there. And I wanted to kind of start my own kind of a life somewhere where I felt that it would be better for me, and to start a family somewhere better than Connecticut, and to have a business that was running.
Okay, keep in mind that he said that. I wanted to move to start a family. He's going to contradict this later on.
Better than what I could do at that condo back in Connecticut that I used to live in. And so I ended up moving to Washington State in 2014.
Also, what's up? It's so uneven. Look at it, under that one nostril. Ew. What is that thing? It looks like a fucking tarantula.
Years ago now, I seriously do not whatsoever regret the move. The move itself has done nothing but positive things for me. My health is better now than it's ever been before. I lost a ton of weight. My back is feeling much better than it used to when I lived in Connecticut. I'm eating so much healthier. I stopped drinking horribly like I was at one point in my life. I met my wife. We have such an amazing life here. The weather is better. The taxes out here are much better than they were in Connecticut. My office, I
thought the taxes were worse. I thought that's how you got into this situation.
have an actual room, which you could consider a studio/office that I broadcast out of every day, that is way more professional than anything I used to do back in Connecticut. So many huge positives out of the move, right? But one of the big negatives of the move was the amount of debt that I incurred doing it, because I basically emptied out my savings account when I did it, plus spent a ton of extra money on top of that, financing everything in there. And, I'm not going to break it down to individuals of what I spent and stuff like that, because I couldn't even remember at this point. But, we're talking not only qualifying for and affording this house, including a very hefty down payment, but the cost of the move itself, moving all the stuff across the country, was exorbitantly high, ridiculous amount of money. Furnishing this house, and doing all that.
And you didn't plan any of that out. He didn't budget or anything. Well, I don't even know what he moved all the way across the. If you're gonna move across the country, I kind of feel like you should just buy new furniture. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid or something. It just seems like it would cost more to ship furniture across the country than to just buy new stuff locally.
Now, the truth of the matter is, yes, I could have probably made way better financial decisions, and I will tell you right up front, 1,000,000%, yes, I way overspent, because I was estimating what I was spending basing on what I was making at the time. Now, keep in mind, I've told you guys about this, in 2015, out of nowhere, I lost a ton of my revenue on YouTube because the trolls fucked with my channel with false copyright strikes. I was forced to remove a bunch of videos, which reduced my channel's views by some million. I think it was like 3 million views had to be deleted because I had to delete all the pre-stream videos on my channel. When I did that, YouTube removed DSP Gaming from search rankings, and from then on, it was just nothing but a downward trend.
Okay, so on this one, Phil is 100% right, 0% wrong. And I completely, because this happened to me, where a certain someone was and continues to file community guideline strikes on any video that's even slightly controversial, or any video where I do like a comedy sketch where I'm joking in it, but it could be interpreted as being literal. So over the years, I've had to delete a shit ton of videos to stop, to kind of try and keep the community guidelines strikes down. And it's really, really, really hurt my channel, the number of views I've lost due to that. So, like, in Phil's case, I can completely sympathize. So what happened? Okay, let me just talk a bit about this, because this is a good time to kind of take a step back. Okay, so there was like a deep cover troll. I think it was Jackie Chen or Be Awesome one. And his like long-term plan was he submitted all this fan art for Phil to use in his pre-streams over like a year-long period. Yeah, he submitted all this. Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna have to look away from the chat for a second. Yeah, so he submitted all this fan art over like a year-long period, and then after that was done, he just started filing copyright strikes on all of the pre-streams that DSP had up. And he had posted it in a thread that said, post fan art here for use in the pre-stream. So Tevin and a bunch of other people went and said this was justified. Because I remember when this happened, Tevin said, oh, Phil didn't put a legal disclaimer in, so it's okay that he did that and Phil deserves it. And a lot of people said it at the time. And I was one of the few people who took Phil's side on this because it was a pretty fucked up thing to do. Like, I get it, they were angry about Project 7 being canceled, but I don't know. That was one of the few times where, I don't know, like when Phil was kind of threatening him with doxing him and stuff, that was a case where I can kind of get why, because he was directly attacking Phil's livelihood, and it did cost him tens of thousands of dollars. Maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in what is largely legitimate revenue that he was getting from advertisements instead of from begging. So on this one, Phil is like completely right. It would be hypocritical for me to say otherwise. I think it kind of counts as a verbal contract, to be honest.
Whole YouTube presence was completely dwindled because of this malicious attack against me in 2015. Now, there are many other factors also that factor in, but that was the one definitive factor.
Well, part of it is I just hate this, like, gaming the system and people snarking and, like, ratting on each other and abusing, like, YouTube's broken system. And once again, a certain person did this to me and keeps doing this to me because I made a couple videos making fun of them a few years back. And it's, like, just a massive pain. So I'm not saying Phil's a good guy. I'm just saying it's bullshit.
That financially, that was the beginning of the screw job for me. Like, that was it. Once that happened, I knew things were going bad because I had overspent when I had moved out here. And now my income that was depending on to pay off all these debts that I had incurred had gone away. Now, in addition to that, more stuff happened behind the scenes, some of which I've touched upon. But one of the horrible things that happened was that my aunt, who had been living at my condo in Connecticut for about 2 years.
Right, his detractor aunt. He keeps changing his story about this.
After I moved there, passed away unexpectedly. We didn't expect that was going to happen. I mean, she was elderly, but she wasn't to the point where we thought she was just going to pass away out of nowhere, and she did. So that was someone who was living there and was giving me a little bit of income basically for that.
I mean, if just to finish off on the whole Project 7 thing, if Thorax asks, am I still a... Yeah, I've had to do a couple appeals in the last year from those. I win them because they're bullshit, but yeah, it's a pain. So I'm just saying I sympathize with Phil and what he's going through in that regard. If he had of... Like, okay, so if the people who were pissed had have gotten him kicked off of Patreon for breaking his Patreon goals, I would be 100% okay with that. I don't like going on to another platform and fucking with someone in a way that's, I don't know if it's even really legal. It just bothers me.
Condo. And now I had nothing, zero, okay? So... essentially what happened was not only did I get completely screwed over financially by the trolls, then a family member passed away who was also providing me additional income. So it was like the double thing happening at once, and it doubly screwed me over. Okay? I've basically, for the past 3 to 4 years, done everything I possibly can, overextended myself in every possible way financially to try to make ends meet and have stuff keep going. Now, you guys see, you look around, there's nothing that I've spent money on. There's nothing extravagant here going on in my house. You know,
in this, like, tiny square feet in his office from hell. I mean, look at it. So, guys, I want you to take a look at where I'm living, and I want you to tell me if anything here is extravagant. Is anything in this room extravagant? No, it isn't.
Notice I'm wearing, look what the shirt I'm wearing, a shirt from 2009. You know, there's nothing crazy going on. I'm not blowing money on anything. There's nothing, it's basically, it's all debt. It's debt that I have incurred in my past, that I way overspent in the past, and was hoping that I'd be able to.
It reminds me of something that, it reminds me of what my father used to say to me. He said, "My beloved son, the heir to my debt," is how he used to greet me.
To pay it off moving forward, and it didn't happen because of the troll activity and, you know, my aunt passing away and losing so much income as a result of those two major factors. Okay, there's way more stuff that happened in between that I'm not going to discuss. We're not going to dwell upon other things in my past that people try to talk about and hypothesize about, because it's all horseshit usually. There's a few factors in there that I'd rather not talk about because they're painful to me and things that happened in the past, so we're not going to do that. Okay, What I'm going to tell you is, in general, things got really bad for me financially. Okay, but over the years, I always found a way to juggle things.
By the way, I know I shouldn't talk about it again, but it really pisses me off, and I just have to vent about it every now and again.
Whether it was transfer this balance over here, take a loan out now to pay off these balances, but now I got to pay the loan. Oh crap, well guess what? Now I didn't make enough money, so now I have to rack this back up, which would I paid off with for the loan. So essentially the debt just got worse and worse and worse, and every single time, I swear to you, every single time that something went in my favor and it looked like I could finally get ahead or catch up, something else crazy would happen behind the scenes that would now be a ton of money that I have to dump into something else that I didn't know. I mean, a perfect example.
Now, one of the things that's so fascinating about Phil's debt crisis is he had actually paid off his student loans. He had a degree in finance, which is a pretty good degree, at least from my understanding. And in the first couple of years on YouTube, he paid off all of his student loans. Tuition is absurd in America. Tuition in the States, like one semester at some schools, is probably more than I paid in 4 years of getting my degree. Obviously not rent-wise, but just in terms of tuition. So he was able to pay that off, and that is an albatross around a lot of people's necks. And like, I think people are legitimately screwed by student loan debt in the States. Because to get a lot of good, profitable jobs, you have to go to university, but it's like, it's many times more than what it should be.
Example of this, was in 2017 when I was actually finally kind of getting back financially on my feet a little bit. And then I find out that my tax attorney back in Connecticut screwed me over and did my taxes wrong for 3 straight years. And now I owed thousands of dollars to the state of Washington for a business and occupation tax that I didn't even know existed since the time that I had lived here. And that's just like one of the...
Yeah, specifically what Phil used to do was something called continuous improvement, where he would go into businesses and come up with plans on how to make them more efficient and I think financially viable is literally like what he went to school for.
The things. One of the many things that happened to me over the course of all this time. So, in reality, has anything horrendous happened to me in the last 2 years or so? Actually not, but it's just all the leftover shit from the past. I've never caught up. I've always been behind on taxes. I've always been behind on a payment. I've always been behind. And this year, this last year, 2019, was finally the year where basically the crap hit the fan.
I thought everything went good this year. His taxes wasn't even like that much money. His taxes weren't even like the state income taxes were like, the business occupation tax is like 1 or 2% or something. It was only a couple $1,000s, and he wasn't having to pay Massachusetts really high income tax, and Trump cut taxes. So I don't know what he's talking about.
To the point where I didn't have enough money every month to pay my bills, and every single month my bank account was becoming overdrawn. Because I didn't have the money in there to pay stuff. And so what would happen is some months the money would overdraw and the bank would clear it and say, okay, we'll pay those payments. And they would charge me these crazy overdraft fees. And that actually was like maybe the first few months, like I'd say maybe like March, April, May, June. That's what happened. Then all of a sudden my bank decided we're not even going to clear the payments anymore. Not only are we going to say, oh, you tried to overdraw and we denied the payment. Now we're also going to hit you with the overdraft fee on top of it anyway. So they weren't giving the money and they were still charging me the...
His bank's a fucking detractor. Because he sent his bills to his bank and he's like, pay these bills. And the bank's like, but you don't have any money with us. So, yeah, it's the bank's fault.
The money on top of it because the payment had bounced. So, man, it was just a bad situation. My whole life, a horrible situation that I was in. And really what happened earlier in 2019 was I had already been having the conversation with my parents about going out there to visit them because in all reality, I've always been upfront and honest with all of you, and I never lied about this. My parents are not in good health, all right? My mom has multiple health issues to the point where any day she could take a turn for the worse and then she's on borrowed time.
Right.
My dad is starting to have health issues now that are very worrying. I'm not going to tell you guys what the health issues are because it's none of your business. But basically...
But I'm going to tell you that I have health issues, that they have health issues.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that really the worst hasn't really happened. But at any moment, the worst can happen, okay? And we all know that. Like, we've known that for years with my parents. So my parents said, we want you to come visit us because we want to meet Kat, who at that time was not my wife, but she was my fiance. We want to meet Kat. We want to spend some time with the both of you. We want you to kind of have maybe a day or two to yourselves away from all that stress that you tell us about. Every day you tell us about how stressed you are about money and everything. And we want you to just come out here and have some time to yourselves and have a good time. So this had already been a conversation that I had with my parents over 2018 and early 2019 that we were going to go visit them at some point. And I was looking for like, what's the best time that we could visit them where it's not a ton of game releases and stuff. And it just so happened it would have been like March or April of 2019 would have been one of the better times. Now, all this was already going on behind the scenes, okay? Well, all this was already going on. Kat and I, got engaged and were looking to get married, and we knew we had no money. We knew that we had no way we could have, even a real wedding. What we were talking about was we were just going to have a very small ceremony. We go to the Justice of the Peace. We get married. Maybe one or two of our friends from here in Washington.
You don't have any friends.
Comes and attends with us. Maybe we just go out to a nice dinner for ourselves and that's it. That's the end of it. Okay, nothing else because
I don't really get this whole not having money to get married thing. I kind of really dislike extravagant weddings. It bothers me when people go into massive debt and they spend their life's weddings and have their life savings on these fairy tale weddings. I really hate that. If you just wanted to have a quiet wedding, I don't really see what was wrong with that, and I don't see why he couldn't get married because he didn't have enough money.
Because can't afford anything, right? So while we were having all these conversations, all these conversations about all of this, my parents even suggested, they said, you're talking about getting married. Did you ever consider about maybe coming out here to get married? Because we're already talking about you two visiting. And while you're here, maybe we could do two birds with one stone. You visit us, but also then have an opportunity to get married in a family setting. Obviously, my parents are like, we're not rich. We can't afford to do a giant wedding or nothing. But what we could do is maybe see if a couple of relatives are available to come by. And we could do a nice little ceremony here at the house and then maybe have a nice dinner. And we were like, wow. That's really amazing. That's a really great opportunity because we had never thought that anything like that would happen. We always thought we're going to get married. It's just going to be us rushing and doing like a little just to the peace ceremony here with nothing, right? Just almost like a normal day.
Yeah, but that's what they wound up doing anyways.
So we jumped on that opportunity. Now the thing is, already I was in bad financial stress. I already was at a point where the only reason that I wasn't insanely badly off financially early in 2019, as I told you guys, was because there was this guy, Emerald7, who late in 2018 gifted a ridiculous amount of tier 3 subscriptions to me on stream, which gave me a ton of extra money. So essentially, Emerald7 made it possible for me to be able to go to Connecticut. If Emerald7 hadn't done that, I basically wouldn't have been able to do it. So I have to tell you, whoever Emerald...
So I briefly got ahead with everything, but then I blew the getting ahead by going on a vacation.
Summit is, thank you. Like, no exaggeration, you're probably the main reason why I was able to get married in 2019. I don't know who you are.
Didn't his mother pay off his taxes for, like, the last year? I remember something like that happening.
But you positively impacted our lives in a really, really positive way, and I want to say thank you sincerely so much for that, because it was such a great positive time in our lives, and you probably don't even understand how much of a positive impact you had on us, so thank you so much for that, okay? All right, now I'll try to get the tear out of my fucking eye and concentrate on what I need to talk about. So, the thing was, I'd already told you guys that I was going to be going to Connecticut to visit my parents, but I knew behind the scenes financially everything was falling apart. I knew the Emerald7 money was running out, and that basically by going to Connecticut this week in April, that it was going to hurt me big time financially. It's a week without income.
Then why did you do it?
And I knew coming back, basically, I was already behind on stuff, and I knew coming back this was going to put me in a position where, like, I'm kind of screwed.
Then why did you do it?
At the same time, I knew it was worth it to see my parents and get married. It was worth it, okay? And so, the big crisis that I had when I went out there was that I needed to make this payment to get caught up on taxes. Not really get caught up on taxes, because I hadn't paid any federal taxes that entire year. I couldn't afford it. And
how the fuck did he not pay any federal taxes? Like, okay, so the Emerald7 money, to be fair, I think what he meant is the extra money meant he could take off time because it was the money he would have been getting anyways. I think is what he's trying to say, but he's just
that basically in order to qualify for what the federal government calls a payment plan to pay off back taxes you didn't pay during the year, I needed to make a significantly large payment of money to them to qualify.
Like, I don't get it. He's like, my taxes make me bankrupt, but I didn't pay my tax. Like, does he pay his taxes or not?
Apply for this payment plan. And so you guys actually helped out with that. If you guys remember, I had done this big stream event before I gone out there to raise money to help with taxes, and then when I was out there in Connecticut, had a nice ceremony with my parents and everything that they paid for 100%. They paid for the flight, they paid for the hotel, they paid for the rental car, they paid for basically everything we did out there because we had no money. We had zero. They paid for...
Okay, am I crazy for thinking he said he was paying taxes all of 2019? Like, am I high? Did I imagine that he frequently asked money for taxes? And now he's claiming he didn't pay any taxes for 2019? What?
Absolutely everything while we were out there. And then, my parents, as a wedding gift, gave me enough money to make up for the deficit and pay the down payment so I could qualify for the back federal taxes payment plan. and not basically have my stuff in jeopardy. Okay, so that was very nice of them. I mean, I'll be eternally grateful. They gave us a great wedding, even though it was a small thing. It was better than nothing, better than anything we would have been able to do, and it was amazing. Now, the whole time that was happening, I had to keep all that secret from you guys. I couldn't tell you about all that stuff that was going on, because if I told you, these shitheads would...
No, he did tell us all this, though.
Would have ruined everything. They would have tried to screw with the flight. They would have tried to screw with the hotel, screw with the rental car, screw with my parents and everything. They would have tried to fuck the whole thing over, and I couldn't take that risk. That's why I couldn't tell you guys about us getting married or anything. But of course, the idiots spin it as, oh, it's because Phil's lying about all of it, and he paid for all of it with your money. He did a fundraiser that was a lie, so he could pay for the wedding instead of the taxes, which is ludicrous of nonsense. But again, how do you disprove when they...
But he just said he did. The money that he raised was covered the income he didn't make while he was in Connecticut.
Make something up like that, how do you disprove it? I can't. So they think it's fact. One of the big negative things of 2019, they said that I'm a liar and I scammed all my fans and stuff like that.
You did, though.
When that didn't happen, okay? So when we came back, well, let me take this back. When I was in Connecticut, and the last conversation really that went down with my parents, after we'd been married and everything, was, what the hell am I going to do to salvage my life? Because financially, my life has fallen apart. I'm in insane debt with 2 mortgages, insane amount of loan and credit card debt. I've got all this stuff creeping up. I mean, I can't make my monthly payments on half the stuff, to the point where now, you know, it's so bad that I'm being overdrafted every month and everything. What do I do? And basically, my mom sat me down and said, you got to understand, you're at a point in your life now where something's got to change. And there's concrete things that have to happen to change in your life, because if you don't change them, you're going to be fucked for the rest of your life. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose everything. So even though you don't want to do this stuff, you're just going to have to do it. Okay. So at that point, we laid out a plan. Okay.
The 2 5-year plans. It's like double what the Soviet Union did.
We laid out a plan, for us, of what we needed to do. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
And hold on, I'm just trying to see, because there's no mods in the stream chat right now. Okay, everything seems fine. Okay, good.
I don't care about the trolls. I'm not.
My mother and I laid out a plan for last year of what I was going to do, and then we laid out kind of a long-term plan. The long-term plan I made public to you guys. The long-term plan is very simple. I know I can't stream full-time forever, and what I need to do is find a way to get myself financially sound, so that I...
Didn't he say, I'm 90% sure in November, he said, if I can raise $2,000, then I'm going to be fine.
I don't have to stream 6 to 7 days full-time a week to raise so much money to pay all the debts that I owe, that I can now maybe within 3, 4, 5 years be better off financially. So now I can say, okay, I'm going to split my time. I'm going to maybe get a part-time job over here in real life. I'm going to split that with streaming, and then eventually integrate it so it's more of a half and half deal. Maybe long-term, even switch it so that it's more of all about being in real life work. And then
no, but he'll never make as much money as he makes on the internet. He makes in like one stream what I make in like a week. Sometimes, especially when I add the like 30% on for conversion rate. Phil makes like $150,000 a year or something, and he pays much fewer taxes than I do. Like, he would have to be like an executive at a Fortune 500 company to make more money than what he's making now.
Having a little bit of the online thing, but whatever it is, okay, it has to change, because there's no way that I was going to financially be feasible doing this forever with the amount of debt and everything that I put myself in. So that's the long-term plan. Plus, we all knew, let's all face it, how many years am I going to stream full-time? Till I'm 70? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to last. Maybe at most, I would say maybe a decade. I could do this, keep going.
What?
But after another decade, how many people are going to care about this, right? You're going to forget about me.
Oh,
so
you
I
don't
know
think
that.
of something.
So, truth of the matter is that I need to find a long-term plan to change things. And that's what I started working on immediately when I got back here in 2019. All right.
Beg for more money.
This is all the information you guys have no information about. You didn't hear a word about this yet until today. I'm going to start giving you new information about stuff so that you know what's exactly happened in 2019 behind the scenes. If you don't care about this, you don't have to watch it. It has nothing to do with my streams or anything, but this is stuff that's been going on behind the scenes that I feel I should share with you because it's very important.
Very important.
Okay? So, the day I got back from Connecticut, I stopped paying my mortgage in Connecticut. That is the condo. that I used to I owned in Connecticut. That's the place where I used to film and do all that stuff. I stopped paying it. All right. I contacted the mortgage company at that time, and it was April of 2019, and I said, I can't pay this anymore. This is ridiculous drain.
This isn't new information. He told us this last year.
Now my finances, it's a condo that my aunt can't live in anymore because she passed away. I can't rent it. I've tried to find renters. I can't find any reliable renters to rent this place.
No. Okay, so what happened with the renters is he contacted a property management company, and the property management company called him, and he said, fuck you, I only respond by email, and he hung up on them. And that's why he wasn't able to get a property management company. That's literally the reason what happened, because of his own retardation.
Out. My parents can't deal with being renters in this place. They're elderly at this point, and they have health problems. I basically can't afford the...
I'm going to say this once again. Phil needs to write a autobiography. It would be amazing. Like, I would buy it. I would buy a hardcover of that fucking autobiography if he was going to write one, but no.
Condo anymore. So I need to talk to you, the bank, about what are the options that we can do, because I cannot make this payment at all anymore. And I need to know what we do moving forward, okay? So the good news is I had a big payment that I stopped paying. Now the bad news is the only thing that I could stop paying was the mortgage. I still had to keep paying the stupid condo association.
But he told us like the whole year that he wasn't he was paying it.
Fees over there, which were over $400 a fucking month. I still are paying them now. I was stuck doing that because just so anyone knows how this works. Legally, when you have a mortgage on a property, you are responsible for everything, okay? But let's say, for example, the mortgage is held by a bank. The bank is technically responsible for doing things like paying the property taxes, insurance on that unit, etc. But if there's a condo association involved, you're still legally responsible to pay for it until that property is no longer in your name. So even though I said I can't pay the mortgage anymore, all right.
It could be like KKK, creator of quality content, or the king of hate. My life is the adventure of the Let's Play. It would be like the new disaster artist.
I still had to pay the condo fees all year, okay? So, it sucked. I had to keep paying these condo fees every month. But I stopped paying the mortgage, and that at least helped in some regard, okay? And I tried to work with this mortgage company for 4 months. They asked me for every possible piece of information. Give me this financial document, that financial document. Show me how much you make. Show me how much you owe. Show us this, show us that. I'm no kidding. Behind the scenes of me streaming, every night I was working on this for hours. Like, it was insane. It was ludicrous the amount of work I put into this, working with this fucking bank, okay? This went on for 4 months like this. Okay, so it was April, so May, June, July, August. Yeah, I'd say about August, September. Finally, I get a resolution from that, and the resolution is, well, we have all these assistance programs, and you qualify for none of them. We can't give you any kind of mortgage payment assistance. We can't give you anything like that. In fact, there's actually something called deed in lieu of foreclosure. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what that means, what it means is that basically the mortgage company who holds the mortgage on your property says, we agree to accept the property as payment for the rest of this mortgage, and we just leave it at that. We will not foreclose on the property. There'll be no suing or legal proceeding at all. We'll just call it even and take the property, okay? They tell me after 4 months of me providing documents and everything to them, we can't qualify you for anything because the condo in Connecticut is not your primary residence. If that had been where you were living, you would have qualified for everything, and we could have talked about all these different options.
Is that the truth?
But because that's your secondary property and you live in Washington and that's your primary residence,
I really doubt
you qualify for nothing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so I spent 4 months sending you all these documents, and you're telling me I qualify for nothing. And they said, yes, okay.
Sucks,
I said, so what's the next step? We want you to short sell your property. All right. So for those of you who are longtime viewers of mine, I've already talked about this.
Yeah,
I did try to short sell my property back in 2017. Okay? I did. I actually contacted a realtor in Connecticut. They put the property up for sale. They made it look nice. They actually had multiple people coming and look at it. They had a cash offer for this property. We brought that information and gave it to the mortgage company, and the mortgage company denied it and said this house is not eligible for short sale because the loan type that I had was a federal, it's called, I believe it's called, is it FDA? It's a special loan. It was the first house I had ever bought. I bought it in 2009. And because of that, I had qualified for special assistance from the government, where the down payment was much less than a normal mortgage because it was my first time. It was like a first-time home buyer special deal mortgage that I did through the government.
Wow, this is really TMI.
Okay? So after doing all that work in 2017, again, that was like 3 or 4 months of work in 2017, trying to short sell the property, I was told by the mortgage company, you can't short sell the property because it's under this special loan. You can't do it. Here we are in 2019. For 4 months, I'm working with the mortgage company. They tell me, you qualify for nothing, short sell the property. I said, I can't. You denied me 2 years ago. If I would be the laughing stock of Connecticut if I tried to go to a realtor now and said, I had this property up for sale, had a cash offer. It was denied by the mortgage company 2 years ago, but now the mortgage company is telling me to try to short sell the property again. There's no way a realtor would even agree to it. The realtor's not going to go out there and do hours and hours of free work, pro bono work, to put the property up for sale, get a buyer, get it lined up, just for you to fucking deny it again because you're idiots. So I presented all that. I even had the letter, the denial letter from 2017, when they had denied the short sale then. I sent that directly to the mortgage.
You have a lot of denial letters, Phil. Your whole life is one big, long denial letter.
Company saying, you're so stupid, you don't even keep your own records from the letter you sent me 2 years ago denying me this, okay? So after that, I send that to them, and they say to me, okay, we'll take this under consideration. We'll get back to you. Okay? Now, in the meantime, I'm not paying the mortgage. I can't anymore. And the truth of the matter is, even without paying the mortgage, still every month I couldn't afford stuff. Because I told you, really the only reason I was keeping stuff afloat was that Emerald 7 money that had come in from all those subs last year. And after that money dried up, that was the end of it. You know.
Sorry, maybe I'm like stupid or something. Could someone just... Did he say he stopped paying for the condo last year? Did he say that? Because I kind of got lost in this whole thing. Because he was saying he didn't. He stopped paying it. And now he's saying that, like, he was paying it and that's what he needed the Emerald 7 money for.
I couldn't afford anything. So every single month, I'm overdrafting on my bank account. I'm barely making ends meet. There's credit cards and loans going unpaid. And... basically, I have no money. Even though I'm not paying the mortgage, I'm using that money from the mortgage that I'm not paying to pay the basic stuff, to buy games for the streams, to pay the utilities. There was one month when it was actually the internet bill didn't get paid on time, and they called me. I was like, oh, fuck, the internet's going to get turned off. So I had to really finagle some money around quickly to pay them quickly so that I could keep the internet on. It was a nightmare.
Couldn't Kat just pay for the internet? Also, why does he have 2 internet lines? I still want to know about that.
Whole last year. All right, was a nightmare.
Okay. And what's this nonsense about him not being able to stream on Wi-Fi? Like, I can stream on Wi-Fi. I'm streaming on Wi-Fi right now. I don't get it.
Okay. The whole fucking last year was a nightmare because of this stuff. All right? So, all that going on. Okay? All that going on. And... finally, the mortgage company just stopped talking to me. Okay, just completely and utterly stops talking to me. And I'm like, well, this sucks because I wanted to work with them. I wanted to figure out what was going to happen, with the property. And all of a sudden, about a month later, I'd say this is probably around September-ish, I get a letter in the mail. Oh, got some news for you. Your mortgage company sold the mortgage off to another company. So you no longer talk to that company anymore. You have to work with a new company. What? I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. So I worked with this mortgage company for 5 months. So May, June, July, August, September. Stupid. They stopped talking to me and then sold the mortgage off to a third-party company so they don't have to deal with it anymore because they know I'm not paying it anymore. Okay?
Like, this isn't even
So I find out, I do some research, and I find out this new mortgage company specializes in foreclosures. This is what this mortgage company does. They buy bad debt, and then they foreclose on the houses. They sell the houses, and then they try to sue people to make up for the money that they didn't get from the sale of the house and what was remaining on the mortgage. Okay.
I wonder who is running that company. That sounds like something that I'm not going to say, but I think the term slum landlord comes to mind.
Okay. So in particular, in my situation, I'm pretty much screwed and out of luck because my mortgage on the house is still around $100,000. That house, that condo in Connecticut is only worth about 60 grand on a good day. Actually, units there have now been selling for around 50 grand. So you're talking like a $50,000 fucking deficit, okay, between...
Buy bad mortgages and sue the people in order to get their money.
Between if they sold the property and what I owe on the mortgage. That's insane. Think about that. In 2009, the property was valued over $100,000. 10 years later, it's less than half. That's how bad. I keep telling you guys how bad it is in Connecticut. That's how bad it is in Connecticut. That's why I had to get the fuck out of there. The whole place is broken down and falling apart. Everything is being devalued. Everyone's trying to get the fuck out of there when they can. That state is falling apart and no one wants to live there anymore because of this shit. Okay? So you're right. As ludicrous as this sounds, I'm paying condo fees of over $400 a month on a condo that's not even worth $60,000. God's honest truth. That's how insane this situation is. I basically got the worst real estate situation possible. Okay? So, I talk to the new mortgage company that now holds the mortgage on my condo in Connecticut to find out what's going on. And they say, well, we have all these fun assistance programs and things you can qualify for. Send us all your income documentation. I said, get the fuck out of here. I didn't qualify for it with the last mortgage company. Why would I qualify for it?
So I'm not going to try.
So we had a conversation, a very honest conversation with one of the reps there. And they said, chances are you're not going to qualify for anything. Is there anything you can do to pay this? I said, no, as it is, I'm overdrawn on my bank account every month. There's no way I can pay the mortgage. They said, then we're going to have to foreclose. I said, then do it. What else can you do, right? So
it is what it is. Nothing I can do, but I digress. Is this a condo really that shitty? Can you actually get a condo for that little amount of money?
Basically, at that point, this was months and months. This was like September, October. They began foreclosure proceedings, okay? Now, hold on a second, because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything before I tell you about the next part of the story. Okay. So, when all this was going on, all right, I knew behind the scenes of me streaming and everything, where I was trying to be happy and everything, I knew financially my life was getting fucked. And I was like, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get sued. They're going to basically sue me for whatever the difference is between what they foreclose the property, they sell the property, whatever the difference is, they're going to sue me for. I have no money to pay it. So what are they going to do? They're going to try to take my house. They're going to try to do all this shit, right? They're going to basically ruin my life. Mm-hmm. So I said, let's see what can we do. So I started considering different options and things, and started talking with various different people. And basically, I had a backup plan / a new plan for moving forward, and I started working on that since the summer of 2019. Okay. Excuse me. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Phil. It's
problem was,
appreciated.
You know, all of my bills, my credit cards and everything were screaming at me. We're going to put you in collections. We're going to do this if you don't start paying. So basically, every month I was trying to maintain minimum payment on everything to keep everyone happy, all right, and not have everyone trying to rip my fucking head off and sue me for money I owed them, while I was still trying to maintain the business, buying the games for the business, paying the internet, paying the electricity, all that stuff, right? It was a nightmare.
Why didn't he sell his condo before he moved? Like, I don't really get it.
Because there were some, you guys know during the fall how sometimes I had to appeal to you guys, man, if you guys could really help me to afford the game this week, because I had no money. All my money was going to the bills every month to keep stuff going. That's how bad it was. You know, and in reality, very matter of factly, if you remember 1 month, I can't even remember what month it was. It was probably October or November. I did a special stream where I said I need to do a fundraiser to raise funds, because if I keep these funds going, I can keep my financial obligations and keep a plan on course to keep going the way that I want it to go. And you guys did help me with that, and I did stay on course. I'm about to tell you exactly what that plan was for the first time ever right now on the stream. Okay? So
holy fuck, I can't follow this. But let's just see where this goes, I guess. I'm kind of losing track of what even the fuck's going on.
Finally going to have the whole skinny on what's been going on with me.
Skinny,
I'm wondering what the hell was that all about, that random fundraiser he had to do in the fall.
I don't think anybody
You're going to find out right now, okay? But everything I've told you is true. Everything in 2019 I ever told you, whenever I said I was overdrawn on my bank account, 100% truth. When I told you I needed to raise money, whether it was for taxes or something really quickly, it was 100% true. It's just that I didn't feel that it was safe to publicly disclose the information until right now, because right now the gears are in motion and we're at a point where it makes sense. Okay? Now, let's talk. And by the way, I never said the house thing wasn't true, Music Records. You're a fucking idiot. I never said that the condo thing in Connecticut wasn't true at all.
Yeah,
never. Not once.
I think you
I
did.
never even addressed it. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're a complete idiot.
He might
Okay.
have. I don't
So,
really remember.
when all this was going down, all right, I realized I didn't have many, I did not have many options at all. Okay? At all. I realized there's very few. Look at this, all this nonsense, and all these idiots. You guys are all morons. Like, every single person in the stream chat right now is saying, well, you said that wasn't true.
Every single viewer of mine, every single fan is a detractor. They're all detractors. They're all detractors.
The whole story about the foreclosure wasn't true. I never said that at all. You will never find that in a video. You will never find that at all. I'll say the detractors are talking about nonsense, and I'm not gonna address it until I'm ready. But I never once said that thing wasn't true.
Yeah, you
not
did.
once.
No, you
I just
did.
wasn't ready to talk about it until I had all the information for you, which I now have. Okay, which I told you many times. I said if I was going to tell you about it, I'm going to tell you about it when I have all the information and it makes sense. In fact, many times over the months, people were asking me what happened to the condo in Connecticut, and I kind of dodged the question because I didn't have all the information. I didn't want to give you a half story of what was going on. So
you're giving us a fake story instead of a half story.
everyone who believed
Makes
the
sense to
bullshit,
me.
I mean, from those idiots, I mean, yeah, you literally only. You always buy in the nonsense and then you spin it the way you want it. I literally never said that none of that was true, but people took it that I said that because you're just idiots.
Isn't that a double negative? I never said that none of that was true.
You probably those guys were the ones who were saying it, and
I
they
never
still denied
said
it.
that
No,
none
I
of
didn't.
that was true.
But you just take it as that because they said it.
Okay.
So that's your own fucking fault.
It's your
okay,
fault.
seriously, that's your own fault. And shame on you for turning this into some kind of a negative thing where it's like a he said, she said, Phil said this. I didn't. I know for a fact, not once ever on a stream or in a video did I said, no, I'm not getting foreclosed on. No, I don't owe this amount of money. No, that's not happening. I never said that at all. Not once did those words ever come out of my mouth.
We
and
get
if you
it,
think
Phil.
they did, you're an idiot. You probably listened to someone else who
Wow.
said I said that, and I never said it.
Rather than clarifying this, I'm just going to yell at you and call you a detractor. I mean, like, his fans, how are they even supposed to know how to agree with Phil? Like, let's say I wanted to buy Phil's version of events. Like, I wanted to be a supporter of his, and I wanted to, like, explain to everybody how Phil is right. I don't even know how I'd explain. I don't even know how I would agree with him. I have no idea.
So I guess there's no fucking mods here today. So I guess I have to ban a bunch of people myself.
Could I be a mod, Phil?
Okay, let's see here.
Actually, I'm. It would be so fucking boring. His streams are unwatchable. They're even worse than my streams.
Okay, hold on, because I'm gonna get. The thing is, you guys really want me to get to the next part of the story that you don't know about, but I have to take care of trolls first. So the trolls actually inadvertently delayed it.
He doesn't care about trolls, guys. I don't care. I'm done with the trolls. End of this. I'm not going to mention the trolls anymore. They just want attention. I'm not going to talk about them. I'm just going to stop my super important stream and ban them all and tell you that's what I'm doing.
A bunch of nice idiots.
It's fucking detractors.
All right. All right. So anyway, now we can move on.
No,
to the
I know,
next
I'm
segment,
just
Okay, because
joking.
now I think it's calmed down here. Okay. All right. So while all this was going on behind the scenes, okay, I knew I had to take drastic action. And this is something that I had talked about with my mother when I was in Connecticut. It was something because I talked to my parents every single week, and they said this is something you absolutely have to consider, and you might have to actually do, because there's nothing we can do about it. You have to do it. You have to make a change, and You shouldn't be embarrassed when in life you're defeated in a certain way and you have to make some kind of a change in order to fix it. Because, you know, this is a big loss for me, a big fail for me that I have to do something now that I don't want to do. I never wanted to do in my life, but I have to. So during that whole summer and early fall, I started looking into options and considering various things. I talked to various people, and there were a couple different options that I could have taken. But basically, eventually, I sat down and I saw a lawyer.
Holy fuck! How much
talked to
like
the lawyer, and the
buildup
lawyer
is there?
said, you know, with your situation, you know, there's really no way out besides declaring bankruptcy. Like, there's no way. How are you going to get out of not only owing all this debt that you have behind the scenes through credit cards and loans, but now you've got a home that you can't pay for and they're going to foreclose on you. Chances are they're going to sue you for the money that you owe. And he's like, looking at your income is inconsistent but good. Like, my income's always been good. The problem is the debts are getting worse because these are all revolving debts. These are credit card debts that are getting bigger and bigger every year because I can't pay them down. You know, it's just getting worse and worse.
I mean, that's how finances work. The more money they make, the bigger your debts. Like, debts just go up. The debt man comes up to you and said, Argent, you're making more money now, so your debt's bigger. And I'm like, but I don't get, why is my debt bigger? And he's like, it just is. I'm like, is it because I'm spending? Can I get some cool shit if my debt's going to get bigger? No, Argent, your debt's just going to get bigger. It just goes up and up. Whatever, somehow.
Every moment. So, basically, what ended up happening was I saw a bankruptcy lawyer, and we went through a lot of information. A lot, you know. It's been a very arduous process, to say the least, okay? Going through so much different stuff. Mm-hmm. And during... It's hilarious. It really is. During my initial meetings with this bankruptcy lawyer...
It's another guy he's going to throw under the bus. Good job.
Okay. I basically explained the whole situation of how I got into the situation I'm in. You know, like, how did you have this amount of income those years and all of a sudden your income went down because of this? And I explained, because trolls and all this. Huh? So I explained, I'm an internet personality.
Can you imagine what that conversation must have been like? That would have been amazing. He's like, he throws everybody he's ever worked with under the bus.
Yeah, I have people who harass me on a daily basis and totally make shit up and all of that. And they're like, wow, I can't imagine. Now, this is, you know, a lawyer who has no exposure to the whole internet lifestyle of when you're an internet personality, a complete outsider, and just matter-of-factly explaining the facts of the situation of what's going on with me in my daily life. This person is like speechless, flabbergasted. This is what you go through every day? I'm like, yeah, like every fucking day of my life, this is what I go through. My wife, you know, gets attacked on a daily basis, has nothing to do with any of this, okay? You know, it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty messed up. It's pretty fucked up. All this information and all the stuff that happens to me. So anyway, I fully explained to the bankruptcy lawyer up front. Chances are anything that could be public on the internet is going to go public. Okay. And so I had discussions with the bankruptcy lawyer about how to go about this, how to discuss it, what to publicly reveal, what to not publicly reveal. Okay. And essentially, once I had explained to the bankruptcy lawyer everything, they responded in this manner. It sounds to me like no matter what, these people who are after you are so crazy fucking obsessed. Not to say fucking, but they're so crazy obsessed with you, they're going to find everything out anyway. Even though they shouldn't have access to the information that it sounds like they get about you, they're going to end up finding it. For example, a foreclosure, when it happens, when a bank actually goes to sue you for...
None of this sounds real. Or maybe, I don't fucking know. This dude lies about everything.
Foreclosure, that's a public filing. And even though no normal person would have access to that data or even know where to look, these idiots sound like they will find it because they constantly will go after your information. And if there's someone who literally has no life and just sits there and looks at public filings every day for the name Phil Burnell, they're going to eventually find it.
Yep.
Guess what happened in December, guys? It was like clockwork. It was literally like clockwork. Absolutely like clockwork, where as soon as the bank formally filed for the foreclosure on me for this property in Connecticut, immediately the trolls find it and post it all over the internet, right? It was like the day of. It wasn't even like a delay. So these idiots literally sit there refresh to find this information about me. It's insane. But they found it, okay? Now, I said to the bankruptcy attorney, do you think that I should disclose to my viewers that bankruptcy, that I'm going to be, trying to file for bankruptcy? And they said, well, basically the way it works is it's an arduous process. I needed to get all this.
Sorry, just letting him go. Honestly, I'm having a lot of trouble following this
information together. Obviously, I had to make a payment to the bankruptcy lawyer to do the work.
Of course.
And for the filing and all of that to make it all happen. And basically they said, it's at your own discretion, but this might be something that you want to be proactive about and nip in the butt publicly first. Be the person to break it to everyone on the internet what's going on with you, rather than just have it be another thing that's going to be sprung. The thing was, we didn't know exactly when the mortgage company was going to foreclose on me. We were waiting. We actually wanted them to do it as soon as possible, because as soon as they foreclose, immediately once they take ownership of the property, I don't owe that condo association in Connecticut any money anymore. I can stop paying them. And in fact, if a foreclosure is going on when a bankruptcy proceeding happens, the bankruptcy proceeding can hold up the foreclosure proceeding significantly.
Fuck, I can't follow this.
All right, very significantly. Okay. So the truth of the matter was, there was no perfect time to tell anyone about anything on the internet, because we didn't know how things were going to go, or anything like that. Okay, so for 3 months, guys, behind the scenes, I've been working with a bankruptcy attorney to basically file for bankruptcy, so that primarily the real reason I had to do it is because I'm probably going to get sued or by this mortgage company when they foreclose on this property, which they're doing right now, and they take it away out of my name and they sell it. There's no way they're going to make the $100,000 on the sale that they would make that they need to pay off the mortgage. They're going to probably make.
That's a good question. Straylock asks, at what point can you see yourself losing interest in Phil? When he stops doing stuff interesting, like there's like a 3 or 4 month period where I didn't really make any videos about him. Like if he wants to constantly be a drama queen, then I'm going to keep making fun of him.
50, 60 grand, and they're going to say I owe them some crazy amount of money, like $40,000, $50,000, and I have no way to pay them. I'm already so bad and behind on debt, I can't fucking make my regular monthly payments on anything. How the hell am I going to afford to pay that, right?
Right.
So, primarily, the bankruptcy that I'm doing is to protect myself from being sued and losing my house, okay? But in addition to that, I have an exorbitant amount of debt in my name from all the stuff from the move out here and everything. And again, for years, trying to juggle all that debt and make it work, and never worked because the trolls would never leave me alone. They always found a way to consistently fuck with my income over and over the years. Again. And I never got level again. And then when I thought I would get level, your tax attorney fucked you over in Connecticut. Now you owe thousands of dollars to the state of Washington. Then because of that, now I'm behind on my federal taxes. It was just a never-ending wave after wave after wave of stuff that fucked me over financially. I could never get back to being square. So because of all of that, okay, all right, bankruptcy is like the only solution. Okay,
it's the final solution.
I've been working essentially since the late summer of 2019.
That's it. It's the final solution to the DSP financial crisis.
But really, I didn't start serious talks until the fall on bankruptcy, so that I can not get completely monstrously destroyed and lose my home and all of that stuff. Okay. The good news here is, from what the bankruptcy attorney has told me,
now Sabaton's final solution.
If I qualify for the bankruptcy, which apparently I very much do, like once looking at all the facts, it's like holy shit, yes, you qualify for this. I'm going to keep my house, okay? And basically, the mortgage, whatever's going to happen with that place in Connecticut happens, and I'm not responsible for it anymore. It gets out of my name, and that's the end of that, and I won't be able to get sued for whatever the deficit is or whatever. I'll be completely exonerated
that's
from
good
that.
Names.
In addition,
that's good. It's
looking like one of two options is going to happen. It's not clear what's going to happen yet.
Okay.
Either all of my existing unsecured debt is going to get wiped out and go to zero, but my credit will be utterly destroyed for a decade. Meaning
So?
I will never be able to get a loan. I will never have a credit card, nothing, no credit whatsoever for a decade. Essentially, it's getting destroyed. And then in a decade, I start at ground zero, like starting over.
I don't get why that's like a bad thing, because Phil already has a really high income. So if his, like, let's say Phil makes, I don't know, like 10 grand a month, and his debts are 8 grand a month. If the 8 grand a month in debt payments disappears, then that's 8 grand a month more he has. So, like, why does it matter whether or not he can get credit? Like, I don't really get it. Wouldn't that basically fix everything? Because Phil has a really high income, and I don't think his living expenses are nearly as high as his income is. I mean, what he could do, as I've said, is if he gets rid of all that debt, he can sell his current house and move to an apartment. And that would probably give him tens of thousands of dollars in cash that he could use to support himself. Because like I said, if Phil makes like $100,000, if he just moves to like a decently nice apartment, maybe something like 2-bedroom or something. I don't know how much apartments are where he lives, like $2 grand a month or something. He can still save money on that. He can save money for retirement. He just needs to downsize his life a bit. He doesn't have to like live in a hole in the wall. But he makes way more money than I do. Or he could just move somewhere where the cost of living is cheaper. So, like, this is basically going to solve everything. Like, can someone maybe say, like, am I stupid? Like, am I not understanding something here? If all of his, like, unsecured debt goes away and he doesn't have to pay the mortgage, isn't that like 6 or 7 grand a month that he's not having to pay? So can't he just pay things out of pocket then? I mean, I don't get it. Maybe I might just be stupid or something.
Or they're going to put me on what's considered a payment plan, meaning they're going to say, okay, you owe this amount of money, and we're going to put you on a plan that you pay a certain amount of money for the rest of your life, essentially, until it's paid off. But this money is based on how much money you make and how much money you owe in taxes and stuff. So basically what they would do is say, okay, you make this much money, you pay your utilities, you pay this, that, all that. Then you pay your taxes. After you've paid all the essentials that are important, then we figure out what you have left, and that's what we figure out would be going to the debts that you owe, okay? Now, it's not 100% sure at all what's going to happen here, at all. It could go one way, it could go the other. I don't know which one would be better. Either way, it screws me over.
Like, is not having credit really that bad? I mean, sure, like, you can't buy a house or anything without it, but it's not as if you can't rent a place. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I live.
And essentially what this does, okay, is it puts me at this position where I have absolutely nothing to fall back on. So, for example, let's say this bankruptcy goes through, which it looks like it's going to. I get really sick, right? For some reason, I get really sick and I have to go to the doctor. And I go to the doctor, I end up in the hospital or needing treatments or whatever. And I get insane medical bills. I can't get a loan. There's no credit card. There's no way I can pay for it. And I'm fucked.
So his medical bills are going to be more than like 6 grand a month. Really? I guess medical bills are shit in the States, but is it really like would medical bills really be higher than all of his outstanding debt payments put together? Doesn't he have health insurance? I think he has catastrophic health insurance.
Okay. And
doesn't Cat make money also?
Basically anything comes up. Something blows up in my house, and I need to afford an appliance or something. I don't have money for it, right? Like, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Is that
doesn't Cat have credit? Can't she just like? I get that you don't want Cat to take out like tens of thousands of dollars in loans, but if you need to take out $1,000 to buy a new fridge, couldn't Cat just get it? I don't know. None of this makes any sense.
I'm now seriously at the point where, because I have to do this, that's going to be my life for the next 10 years, And
No,
it's
it
funny
isn't.
because idiots, okay, will spin stuff, okay? Idiots will spin stuff that, in regards to, what's going on with this, they'll say, well, if Phil declares bankruptcy, that means he doesn't owe anything to anyone. So, see, Phil won't need any more contributions on streams, and Phil won't need any support from his fans any longer. If he says that he needs help, he's lying to you. That is 100%
True.
ignorance about how bankruptcy works. It's actually completely the opposite situation. I need your support more than ever before, because whatever I make, it has to go towards the direct bills, taxes. I owe a ton of back taxes right now. This month, I'm trying to make a payment to catch up on state taxes. And then I have
State taxes are like nothing. Like the amount of money he would have to make to pay substantial amount of state taxes.
How the hell do I pay my federal taxes that I did not pay last year again? And chances are, I would almost guarantee they're probably not going to put me on another payment plan. I would think they might put a lien on my house, or they might do. I don't know what they're going to do. It's a bad situation. And even with the bankruptcy going through, I'm not clear because of tax situation. I'm behind on everything. I need to catch up on everything that I'm behind on before I can even consider, I'm square. Okay.
Yeah, but Phil, that's like $6,000 a month you're not having to pay. That's a lot of fucking money.
So the truth of the matter is that chances are, if this does go through, I'm going to lose a lot of the stuff in the house that I don't need. For example, all those statues and shit that I've got in the storage nook, I give all that up. I say, this might be worth something if you sell it. I don't need it. It's not something I actively use. It's not an appliance that I need to live. Here's a bunch of shit that I don't need. Take it. Take all this junk that's been sitting around that I haven't been able to sell.
That he refuses to sell.
For years. Please, by all means. And the thing is, there's not much in my house that they could do. Most of the stuff that's valuable is in this office for the business. That's protected under bankruptcy filing. It's really only the things that are considered superfluous in the collections, jewelry, that kind of shit that they can actually take in a bankruptcy filing, that kind of stuff. So they're basically, outline the stuff that's in the house, give them a list of everything here, and they're going to take and sell, stuff that they can. So yeah, stuff in my house is going to end up probably getting sold off. More than likely, the shit over there in the storage nook that I don't want and don't need is going to get sold.
Well, why didn't you
and
sell
more
it
than likely
earlier?
other stuff. I don't know to what extent they're going to take.
I don't get why he never. Well, he's just fucking lazy. That's.
They're not going to take stuff like your bed. You know what I mean? And they're not going to take your basic appliances, but they're going to probably take certain things.
Dude, nobody wants your bed. Oh, I just thought of Phil and Cat on his bed. Oh.
And that's how it is.
Oh.
Okay, that's just how it is when you declare bankruptcy. Now, why am I telling you this publicly?
It's a good question.
Well, first of all, I want to have full disclosure to all you guys.
But
I want you to know what's going
you said you aren't going to tell people anything anymore.
on. This is what I've been going through for the last year behind the scenes and not told you guys at all because I didn't want to, weigh you guys down by all this negative shit. I didn't feel that it wasn't anything that should be a part of a gameplay stream at all. You know what I mean? And in my regards, like, the thing is, when you declare bankruptcy, it's public, but it's only public in like a public filing somewhere where you file and stuff like that. But the thing is, I already knew the foreclosure was going to go public, and with the foreclosure going public, you knew that people were going to constantly be searching online for people declaring bankruptcy in Washington State and look for my name constantly every day. So I figured it would make more sense to be more transparent with you guys and be proactive and tell you guys up front about all of this so you guys understand everything that's going on. You know what I mean? That's the deal. Okay, guys?
That's the deal.
I don't even know what this idiot's talking about, so I'm going to ban them. I have more to talk about, but I have to now ban more idiot trolls. Okay?
Trolls, a.k.a. his fans, a.k.a. the people who support him. They're like, Phil, how much money do I need to give
God,
you?
these idiots.
You fucking troll.
I'm taking care of these guys.
I don't get why Phil never saved any money. Like, I guess he just has really high time preference. I'm just gonna go with that.
Okay.
That probably was the reason for it.
All right, I think I got
Okay.
rid of most of them. There's a few others left over, but what can you
Okay.
do? I can't take care of all of them.
Trolls,
now.
aka the people
All
that
right.
pay your bills.
So, that's the truth of the matter, all right? Is that I'm in the process of bankruptcy. I don't know the whole situation, how it's going to go down. It's already in process. It's going. Eventually, it's going to be public because you're going to see the information on the internet public. Well, not on the internet. Apparently, it's some kind of a filing area or whatever. But these trolls will find it. You know what I mean? If they
They will find
the
it.
foreclosure in Connecticut, that they're sitting there refreshing every day looking for lawsuits in Connecticut, and they find my name, they're definitely going to find out about the bankruptcy. So that's why I had to talk about this. My bankruptcy attorney actually advised me to talk about it publicly with you guys first and said you should be the one to tell everyone and be honest with them up front about what's going on rather than have someone else
Really? The lawyer told him that? I don't
spring
know
the news.
about that.
Okay. So that's the truth of the matter, guys. And
and
hold on a second, here's some more.
we're gonna
Oh my
like.
God.
I don't care about them though, guys.
Here we go.
I don't care. I don't care about the trolls. I'm just gonna complain about them constantly.
Okay.
This is
Looks like
great.
we're okay now.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. All right. So the good news is
Chat's not even on stream.
with what's going on right now. All right. Here's the truth of the matter. The good news is the stuff that's essential will be protected. My house is protected. Everything I need for the business in here is protected. All my stuff in the house, like appliances, basic stuff like that, should be protected. It's only things that are considered superfluous things, like the crazy amount of stuff in my storage nook that I don't need, that kind of stuff. Okay.
What about his house? His new car, is that protected? That's a good question. I want to know about
So there you
that.
go. That's the kind of stuff that maybe is up for grabs. Maybe some others, I don't know. Like, are they going to try to take my worn out 6-year-old couch that's now has indentations and has been lived
Cockroaches,
on? They could potentially,
bed
but if they
bugs.
take my couch, I don't know how I sit anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know the extent
What the-
of what's going to actually happen with this bankruptcy. We haven't gotten to that far yet. We're to the point where
Would they really take his couch? Like, is that like a real thing? I don't know. I don't believe it.
trying to determine exactly what kind of bankruptcy it's going to be and go from there and all that stuff. So it is what it is. But it's going through now. It's a process that takes a few months. Chances are it probably won't be official until, like the spring.
The spring.
But, this is
but-
basically going to get to a point where now, here's what I need to worry about stuff. I need to worry about paying the utilities, paying the, taxes. All my other ongoing obligations, like for example, my car loan doesn't get wiped. I'm keeping my car, so my car loan I have to keep paying, stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Obviously, the mortgage on this house I have to keep paying
my God.
properly. The cost of everything for the business, so the cost of internet, games, and all that I have to keep paying. And then on top of that, find a way to pay the taxes properly because I'm so behind on taxes. That has to be like my main focus. Is once all the other debts are wiped out.
Isn't the IRS pretty accommodating? I could be wrong. Maybe someone could tell me in the chat. I thought that like the IRS is pretty eager to put you on a payment plan.
Out. The condo in Connecticut's wiped out. The credit cards, the loans, all of those are gone, and my credit's completely ruined, which it will be for about 10 years.
Yep.
All right.
Well, you don't deserve good credit.
Then I would
Like, I don't get how he can complain about his credit being ruined. Like, you don't deserve good credit. Why would anyone give you good credit? You defaulted on all your debt.
have to catch up on these taxes. All right. So that's the deal. That's the deal. And we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to talk about this too frequently past today's podcast because I don't see the point to doing it, talking about that frequently at all. But the thing that sucks about this is something that obviously I would have wanted to fix myself. Over the years, remember, I kept talking about, I want to refinance the house. Because the truth of the matter is this house has equity in it. But because I have so much debt in my name, no one will refinance my house. I have equity that you could have taken all that unsecured debt and put it into the house. The mortgage payment would have gone up a couple $100s a month. And I wouldn't have had all those crazy unsecured debts anymore, and I would have had all the money I need to pay taxes and do everything I need. But no one would refinance the house because I had so much debt in my name. So that was a thing that I tried for 2 straight years. I kept trying, and it was always off the table for me, and I could never do it, which really sucks. The good news is I keep the house, I keep the business, I keep most of, if not all, the essentials. I mean, yeah, I might lose some stuff in the house that I don't fucking care about or need. I might lose some things that I like. I mean, what can I do, right? They're going to take what they take.
There's nothing I can do about it, guys.
And that's the truth is, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as it could be, you know? It's not as bad as it could possibly be at all. So, that's what's going on with me. Now, again, I strongly urge all of you, moving forward, stop fucking listening to the nonsense from the people who spin it in a way that it's not true. Because I'm filing for bankruptcy, or I have filed for bankruptcy, doesn't mean that I now have unlimited fun. I have no debts and unlimited funds, and I'm good. Like, what needs to happen? I need to basically get the same kind of support I've been getting on streams or better.
Okay.
And then what I can do is work on putting that money towards the right stuff, like getting out of the debt that I'm in with these taxes, getting these taxes paid to the point where I can pay my taxes properly every month like I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And basically getting back on track. The good news here is, if this works out the way that the bankruptcy attorney is explaining to me, all right, by the middle to late 2020, I should be able to get back on track, hopefully start getting caught up with the taxes, and then, instead of it always being, oh my God, now I'm overdrawn or this and that, everything's okay in that regard. And, you know, maybe even start turning stuff around in a positive way, you know. People always ask, can you upgrade your equipment? Can you do this or that? No, there's no fucking way I could do that now. But give it a year. If all the debts are wiped out and I'm caught up on my taxes and everything's good, things could potentially get better again, you know? And then when we do a special stream and I raise a bunch of money out of nowhere, wow, I could put that towards something positive on the streams, rather than, wow, that has to go pay a back debtor that I've owed for months. Oh, and in particular, that stream that I did, I think it was in November. It was a special stream I did to raise some funds, and it was for an emergency. I told you guys I really need to catch up with a financial obligation to keep me on pace.
Yep, what was that?
That obligation was I needed to pay my mortgage. That month, I was so overdrawn on everything, I couldn't even pay my fucking mortgage here. And I was told by my bankruptcy attorney, you need to stay current on your mortgage on your house. If you don't, and then we file, it could screw everything up. You need to get caught up on that mortgage so that now everything's good and you could stay on pace for the bankruptcy and nothing will get screwed up. So that's actually what that was for. I had to catch up on the mortgage in order to stay on pace to file for the bankruptcy. Okay? So that's what's going on with me. My hope is that everything goes through fine. All right? One or the 2 bankruptcies I qualify for, whichever, who cares, doesn't matter, right? Either one is fine in my opinion. And whatever I qualify for works. And now, say within 1-2 years, yeah, it's going to be tight financially. It already is. But say within 1-2 years, now I can basically get myself on pace for that plan I talked about with my mother when I went to Connecticut. The plan was that I was going to eventually phase out of full-time being a streamer. If I don't have exorbitant debts to the point where I have to make a lot of money on stream to pay all those exorbitant debts, if I can make a little bit less money streaming, I can have time now to try to seek out a part-time job and have employment in person and also online, and split the time between the two. And then eventually maybe I could flip it so then I have the job half and the streaming half. You see what I mean? That would be kind of, I don't want to say it's an escape plan because I'm not looking to go anywhere. I love streaming. But everyone knows there's no way I can continue to do this full time for the rest of my life. But there was no way. There was absolutely no way that I was going to be able to quit streaming and find another job that was going to pay enough money to pay all these debts that I had. That was the problem. The condo in Connecticut, the credit cards, the loans. I had so much exorbitant debt in my name. There was no way I was going to get a part-time job and not stream and somehow make enough money to pay all the debts. I was going to get completely, utterly destroyed. So now, if this goes through the bankruptcy and everything goes well, then that means give it a few years, but once I'm caught up on the taxes and everything's level, now I can look to actually do those things, okay? But I couldn't do it until this happened, all right? Fair enough? All right. So that is the deal, guys. Now, what I'd like to do is take a short break. And And when we come back in a very short break here, like 10 minutes or whatever, I'm going to tell you about my plans for 2020. We're going to go through the game release list for 2020. I'm going to tell you what games I'm interested in playing, and we're going to go from there. But what I'd like to do is a bunch of shout-outs, all right? But, of course, like 57 or something crazy in order to do that. So that's not possible, okay? Third out of the third cheer says, when you mods here before, don't ask me where the hell they went.
I think there's a rant
you need.
somewhere in here.
That anything that you were asking for would actually put my...
Let me see here. I'm just trying to find where his rant was. So he had a rant.
So, that's what's going on with me. Now, again, I strongly urge all of you, moving forward, stop fucking listening to the nonsense from the people who spin it in a way that it's not true. Because I'm filing for bankruptcy, or I have filed for bankruptcy, doesn't mean that I now have unlimited fun. I have no debts and unlimited funds, and I'm good. Like, what needs to happen? I need to basically get the same kind of support I've been getting on streams or better, and then what I can, and whatever I qualify for works. And now, say within.
I'm trying to find, because he had this thing where he just started yelling, like, maybe that was on Mighty D's. I think that might have been on Mighty D's. Let's see here.
Fast, really, about me lying and scamming my viewers for entries on Amazon. Maybe I'll update my Amazon wish list for that.
Okay, here we go.
Consistent but good. Like, my income's always been good. The problem is the debts are getting worse because by this mortgage company, when they need to pay off the mortgage, they're going to probably make 50, 60 grand, and they're going to say I owe them some crazy amount. And it's funny because idiots, okay, will spin stuff, okay? Idiots will spin stuff.
What kind of a person would spin stuff in order to get money?
That, in regards to, what's going on with this, they'll say, well, if Phil declares bankruptcy, that means he doesn't owe anything to anyone. So, see, Phil won't need any more contributions on streams, and Phil won't need any support from his fans any longer. If he says that he needs help, he's lying to you. That is 100% truth.
I was trying to avoid this, but there's some important stuff here.
I need to make a wish list on Amazon for them.
Obviously, you guys want to see me have the new consoles. You want to see...
Ignorance.
I think what I need to do at this point, now that you guys know the situation that I'm in, and what's going on with me behind the scenes, I think that once we get information about the new consoles, both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X...
I need to make a wish list on Amazon for them.
Obviously, you guys want to see me have the new...
You guys have to fucking... You have to go and buy me the new consoles. Holy shit, this dude has
consoles.
No shame.
You want to see me unbox them, review them, walk through the dashboard, play the launch games, right?
Oh my god.
And if I'm in dire financial straits, I can't do that.
No, you
so
can't.
What I'm thinking is, once we get actual concrete information about the release of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, if they have entries on Amazon, maybe I'll update my Amazon wish list for that, so that we can get those locked in, and maybe some generous person or two will jump in and try to finance that, so that I can be sure have those for launch. Because I'm honestly really nervous that what happens if literally I have no money at all year, because every dollar is going towards just paying what I absolutely need to pay, and now I have no money for this stuff. How am I going to continue to stream, right? You guys want to see the new stuff, so
I need that money.
Phil, you make me angry, Phil.
I need that money to pay my bills.
Some idiot in stream chat says, you can't just say something's not true. You have to present evidence when everyone's been right about everything in the past.
Yeah, they have.
When everyone's been right about everything in the past, really. About me lying and scamming my viewers for money to pay for a wedding that I didn't pay for, that my parents paid for.
You did.
About saying that there was an escort that never existed.
Okay, the escort was bullshit.
Dude, I could just go on. Let's just go through all the list of the insane, stupid shit that they say about me on a daily basis that's completely wrong. You're an idiot. Just because you believe it doesn't make it true. It just makes you a fucking gullible idiot. So, you're an idiot. That's right. Apparently, it's guilty until proven innocent. That's what happens when you're a fucking brainless idiot. Yes, Stinky Dinks, I remember.
Thank you,
says,
Matty D. That was
do you remember
necessary.
when the detractors ran with the escort story for a whole year? There wasn't actually a shred of evidence, just dropped
I don't know.
on the
It's
internet,
Mighty
and the
D
next
put
thing you
some
know, it
shit
ended up
in
being
for
a whole
some
fake
reason.
story, and they got arrested.
I wish they'd
But,
stop with it,
that's
but
how it is.
whatever.
People literally just do this shit for jollies or whatever. So I mean, all this shit is always wrong. Literally, the only thing that was 100% correct so far was the foreclosure, because that was public knowledge. That it was going to go public no matter what. Get the bankruptcy and post that up there too. So I figured I should tell you everything going on so you have full disclosure. One thing that was posted was true. Why'd so many people get banned for mentioning it? Because they literally come to the stream, they derail the stream, they spam it, and it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about on stream. If I'm doing a gameplay stream of Pokemon, and 25 people come to the stream and say, Phil's getting foreclosed on, what the fuck does that have to do with Pokemon? Zero. It's derailing the stream. Instant ban. It's always been against the rules. There's no reason to bring up drama. There's no reason to bring up gossip. That's all it is. It's gossip. Who cares if my house is getting foreclosed on? What the fuck does that have to do with the gameplay stream that I have on the internet right now? Zero. The kind of people that bring it up are
well, but you bring it up every single stream constantly.
immature drama queen pieces of shit
Like
who want to derail the stream and laugh.
Ha ha ha! Look, Phil's getting foreclosed on.
Fuck you, you get banned. That's why they got banned. It's very common sense for someone who has an intelligent brain, which you don't have, Boss Hog. I'm very sorry about that.
Oh.
Well, is there a nugget of truth about the WWE mobile games? I already talked about this, I think it was last night or the night before. Here, I'll say it one more time before everything kind of fell apart with YouTube and everything. I cards in the game and made all your progress essentially 1 year later. I went back and I reinstalled the game just to try it, and it was shitty. Only played it casually. That was the game that I kind of like casually grinded in. I don't play them anymore. I got rid of them. I said I'd rather focus time on important stuff with my family. Oh, look, that's a name we didn't know. Now let's go scour the internet for other times Phil used that fucking name and other things so we can find other accounts that he's done and hack other accounts and get more personal information. Fuck you. All right? I've had enough of this shit. I seriously am tired. Every little fucking thing in my life being microanalyzed by a bunch of no-life, worthless, disgusting, toxic, do-nothing ne'er-do-wells who will never, ever have a shred of fucking positivity in their lives. They live in their fucking Paris basements.
I don't live
they
on a
hide
Paris
from real life, and they do this shit anonymously on the internet because they can get away with it. If they
hide from real life, Phil, I think you're the last person who should be accusing someone.
didn't get away with it in real life, they would all hide like the cowards they fucking are. No. Fuck off. Stop fucking with me and every little thing that I say and do and twisting it into something it's not. Stop trying to take information from 3-4 years ago and turn it into something now that it's not to ruin me. I'm tired of this shit. Really, it gets to the point where I get so fucking frustrated and it just is pent up pain inside of me because any little thing that I say and do on a stream can be construed into something that it's not, or that's something.
Because you use every single thing you do. Okay, I gotta clip that. Every single thing you do is used by you as a way to e-beg for money. That's really the main reason why it's used for you. Okay.
Nasty can be made out of something that I did innocently years ago, and now you're gonna somehow try to fuck with me. And I know, because I know exactly what happens. If I show you an account on my phone, oh my god, now we got something else on them. Use that name, scour the. It's never gonna end. It never will end.
Never gonna
There's
end.
no, the reason I did this stream today was to get everyone caught up on stuff that was going on. I knew that talking about a foreclosure and a bankruptcy, that was public knowledge, that was going to be on the internet. I knew those idiots were going to misrepresent it and lie about shit. So I went out on my best interest here and I told you guys very transparently about what's going on with that, okay? Anything else that you hear is fucking horseshit, period. If I have stuff that I feel is important to my streams or my content, or that I need to reveal to you about my personal life, I will. But all this other shit, I'm so fucking tired of hearing it. I really am. I'm just done with it. I'm done addressing it. I'm done fucking putting up with it.
Then why did you keep addressing shit as people posted it? Why did you go on and ban everybody?
Enough is fucking enough. My life has been systematically fucked up year after year by people fucking with me. I can't get sponsorships. I can't get all the same opportunities every other full-time streamer gets because of you pieces of fucking shit trying to ruin my life. Fuck you. I'm done putting up with your shit. I'm not entertaining.
She's done this like every week. Every stream he says this.
For a single moment any more of your stupid bullshit. You could say anything you fucking want. I don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself. Ooh!
Oh fuck, I'm gonna get copyright claimed. So yeah, that is the story of Phil Burnell and where he's at the moment. is he going to get actually filed for bankruptcy? Is any of this actually true? Well, I guess there's like the public documents or something like that. But I guess I'll have to leave it up to you to decide. I just, so I think what we can all look forward to is Phil is never going to address the detractors again. He's never going to address the people who trolled him. He's never going to do any of that. That's all over. End of this. So I think I'm going to have to like give up, guys, and not do any DSP videos in the future, because he said, I'm not going to give the detractors any, if you consider me a detractor. I don't know, because I've never really tried to fuck with him, and I've defended him a couple times. But he's not going to give me any more material. He's not going to bring up drama. He's not going to, it's done. I can't cover anything this dude does anymore, because end of this. So I think that's good. And Phil, I wish you luck in your life. I don't know how I'd do another stream about you, because you're not going to share any more information with us. You're not going to get into fights with the trolls anymore. It's going to be just DS positivity. 2020 is going to be DS positive. So I think that pretty much covers it. I just like to thank everybody for showing up. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Please slam that like button. And God bless everybody. I'll talk to you all real soon.